right back, Charlie.
Because you always use that active when defending. I think it's like. Because you always use that active when defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Come on, Ian, man. Are we live? Of course I'm live. People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. I'd just like to say, people, you're not watching the premiere. I actually am live. I actually am here. As usual, people, good morning, good afternoon. Hit the like button. Because it's late, I dropped it by 50 likes, people. We get 150 likes, we start looking at the transfer business, people. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. I hope everyone's in good spirits. Good morning, especially technically good morning to those of you like myself in the United Kingdom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, obviously, where it applies, good night. I hope you had a great weekend. Defo should be a great weekend. You know, it's a shame that it's pre-season, but champions of Orlando, they'll never sing that. You know, we smacked up Chelsea 4-0. There's no friendlies in football. Jorginho spoke kind of bossy in that regards before the game, and as usual, we patterned it, people. It doesn't matter. Stamford Bridge, Orlando, we do it wherever in it. You know, maybe we would have done it at the Emirates. She was playing against the little puppies in Pablo Marie when the big dog Saliba's about and Gabriel's there and Ben White shining at right back and Zinchenko's sourcing and Jesus is sourcing and just things are happening, people. We have to win a goal of the month or match of the day at some point this season. We can't get too excited. There's a long way to go. Do I feel Arsenal have necessarily strengthened? In many ways, yes. You know, I see building blocks on the coach in front. And obviously, we brought in Jesus and Zinchenko. We hope to bring in a couple of more. We probably need to bring in a couple of more. And on one hand, clearly, we have a bloated squad, as you lot could see. But is it really bloated? You know, there are some players that, for one reason or another, we've been down a very long road, people. And whether it's ability or not, ability is kind of out of the question in some cases. But if you get rid of Pepe, if something happens with Ainsley, if something happens with Torreira, if Leno goes, if I haven't said Bellerin and any Marie and people of this ilk, again, I'm not saying to keep any of them, but suddenly the squad isn't that big, you know, really. Yes, we have brought in Fabio Vieira as well. Again, it remains to be seen specifically what we're going to do with Marquinhos. You know, obviously he's able to play on the right-hand side, but depending on what happens with Pepe, Reece Nelson, and bringing in someone, it obviously implicates him. So is our squad really that equipped to deal with a Premier League season? As you saw, really just playing in one competition last year was hard enough. And now with Europa League and you're still in you start off in every cup. So we'll have to see. Do Arsenal have enough squad depth? Again, people, while I like to talk about the transfers and see all of that sort of stuff, you lot make the platform. Any opinions, questions, talking points, feel no sort of way about getting them in, people. You lot make the platform. As I said, bit late for a stream, hope you're well. Why not, man? You know, I was here watching YouTube, you know, shout out, you know, the RTM podcast with Young Spray, Ice Cream, and I was just watching the Mike GLC one, and I thought, I am going to get tired, but I thought, you know what, I haven't gone live today. Let's put in the hard graphs. And I know it's technically Sunday's been and gone now, but it is what it is. Evening, bro. Come on now. It's not a premiere. It's so good. I have to say that comment twice. Atka said, nah, DG is for the people. Big up on the late night stream. Perfect way to end a positive week. Appreciate that. Or start one where if you're in Asia, technically if you're in the United Kingdom and so on and so forth, people. Hope to wake up to good news of a result woke up to good news of a result last night, but we need to keep things in perspective. The team still has weaknesses that need to be addressed, and the true test is against Palace away. Amen, Nathan. You said it there, and you can't draw too much from too many conclusions from pre-season, but I feel it was a positive camp for where America's concerned. Obviously, we won some games. You can see bits and pieces where Arteta wants to improve the team and where you hope we can improve. You know, seeing them fancy 1-2s, third man runs, people comfortable in possession. possession, seeing a bit of flexibility tactically. I know pre-season tactics, but in that relation with Arteta, seeing different relationships and combinations where Saka and Odegaard, for example, you want to see that get better and enhanced. And obviously where you've seen Jesus and Nketiah, Jesus with Odegaard, Jesus with Saka, Gabriel Saliba and Gabriel at this moment at centre-half, right back with Ben White. There's some relationships building. Like I said, you can't draw too many conclusions. And the true benefits of pre-season and what we've really been working on, we're not going to see it for a few months, in my opinion. But one thing I do like is obviously the flexibility, especially with obviously Ben White putting in a shift at right back. If we do not bring what a lot of us expect in terms of a right back signing, I'd say against Chelsea, the most positive thing for me was it's not just smacking it into the flanks for Saka. There was a couple of times he was doing it quickly. Martinelli on the counter, and you saw Martinelli probably should have had a goal or an assist in the first opening period against Chelsea, where Saka could have done a lot better. I think Mendy saved, but sometimes we're just going direct with him. Obviously, Saka can go, he can go long pause, he can play short and things like that. You've got your centre mids and your centre halves to play them standard passes. Jesus, obviously, as much as playing up front, he does offer an outlet, even though he's not really a physical man. Peels over to the left and the right. So I am liking that. Start as you mean to go on. Again, there's still a lot of work to do, in my opinion, in terms of incomings and outgoings, but it is what it is. Admittedly, like you said, Palace, that's what, a couple of weeks away, if that, really and truly. Community Shield this week is technically Monday where I'm from at this moment in time. After this, Community Shields this week, and then it's showtime. We're the curtain raiser. I know we got the All or Nothing coming out before, but you're right. And definitely, I would have loved to have seen the centre mid, because we know Xhaka and Partey is something that we're going to see a lot. For all we talk about Zinchenko maybe playing there, Fabio, Vieira, this and all of that, Telemans and this guy and that guy. It's neither here nor there. But I would have liked to have seen that improved. Even if a new centre mid walked in tomorrow, again, you would have loved for him to have the pre-season. When pre-season started, one thing I was gassed about, and we did get the business done kind of early to a degree, or we started well, is that when we was linked with Rafinha, kind of them times, you heard emphasis coming out of all these Arsenal in the nose and journalists and stuff, how we want people in early for pre-season to work with them. Where centre mid, which is going to make or break beyond other things our season, that just didn't quite happen. And obviously where Tomiyasu, Tierney, Smith Rowe, I know Arteta said some have been in training and some haven't. You want to see, them fit in it. You want a full squad. You want even more of a headache for Arteta. But having a fully fit squad is a luxury that managers probably can't account for, really. Sorry, folks. I needed that. But yeah, big up you lot for tuning in. Big up myself for letting you lot know about a 5-minute delay. Can we get to 150 likes, people? Appreciate that. One love to you lot tuned in. What else are you lot saying? 46 likes. Come on, man. You lot are not the late night crew, really. Screamer, lad. It is a Mazza. It is live. I'm doing well, man. Shout out American Gooner. I'm safe, man. I'm sweet, man. Hustle around the clock, my boy. Come on. I am live. Shout out the Twitch ones. I think I'm banned in the YouTube chat. I'm not able to chat on YouTube. What did you do? I'm loving this back four, man. I hear that. But again, you can't rule anyone out. So if Tomiyasu's fit, obviously you would like someone that is of Tomiyasu's level, but better, or someone that can offer a lot more in an attacking perspective. And then we could be a bit more conservative with Tomiyasu. Closing out games away from home where he's good in the air. These sort of things help us out quite a lot, in my opinion. But if Tomiyasu isn't going to be fit, then you need to utilize Ben White's versatility. Again, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but where we look at Tierney, we're assuming that every time Tierney's not fit, Zinchenko's going to be fit. There'll be realities, unfortunately, where both of them are injured, where Eddie and Nketiah and Jesus could be injured, where our two centre mids are injured, or someone's suspended, or someone's whatever. I'm not being bad, man. These are things that happen in the season. So we need to be equipped. And that's why I think a lot of Arsenal fans are making too much of the Gabriel, Ben White, Saliba thing. May the best man win. If everybody's fit and Tierney and Tomiyasu are probably going to play as a fullback, may the best man win. There's games where you're going to need them, games where one of them's form might be shaky. As I said, if I could wake up tomorrow and address certain areas, and I know it'll be addressed the same day. Right wing for me. Could you explore a striker? That's probably dream chasing, but right wing, centre back, fair enough. We've got Zinchenko now, so I'd pull my attentions to finding an out and out right back. I don't quite believe him. I know he's only been 2 minutes, and I give him that luxury, but I don't quite believe in Matt Turner's abilities to be a number 2. So I would bring in the keeper. And if there is money left around, I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying big money on the centre half, but there is a reality of bringing in another centre half, because in an ideal world, if we brought in another right back, you've got Tomiyasu who can play centre half. You've got Gabriel, you've got Saliba, you've got Ben White. You know, you'd have this other centre half. You'd have 5 decent ones. And if Holding wants to hang around like a bad smell, he can do that really and truly. Or you could sell him on. And by Arsenal standards, we signed Holding, for example, for 2 million. Surely you have to try harder not to make any decent quid on that. DG, not gonna lie, if we get Telemans or Paqueta, that would be good, but both would be great. What you saying, DG? Late night streams ongoing. I don't know, man. These are off the cuff. It's the weekends, isn't it? These are off the cuff, really, man. And I wasn't live in you know, in the morning at the typical time, so I thought, why not, man? You know, we're gonna keep the late night streams at ad hoc basis. If make sure you've got your notifications on Twitch and YouTube on. If they obviously nice you, then they nice you. If not, it is what it is, man. Big up Deluded Grinder. I hear that, man. DG, Arsenal were quality yesterday, defensively and offensively. Congrats to Arsenal. Chelsea were miles behind. Hudson-Odoi, I appreciate that. Banter aside, you know, this is why I like guys like you, because you can be honest in it, really. I know I was looking at the comments, Tuchel's kind of tearing into his players, really, and there's a lot of sound bites kind of coming out. Like the latest one I saw on Twitter, and I know Twitter make a meal of it, and I don't know if the video's in context, but you can see Tuchel kind of getting not angry at Sarr, but telling Sarr not to moan at Werner. So I don't know if everything's good in the camp over them sides. Now, if I was Tuchel, I would feel a sense of frustratement, because every player you want, Barcelona get involved, and maybe we just spoke about from an Arsenal perspective, you want the bulk of your players in, Tuchel's going to play a 3 or a 4, you want those centre halves, those Condes, them Kimbembes to follow in Koulibaly, whatever he wants in midfield, whatever he wants that's up front. You know, a couple of players probably gone, so that you can kind of work with the bulk of players that are going to be there. You know, people don't just rock up in July or June or wherever preseason starts and the managers go, I'm going to use him there and the other. You know, preseason work starts mid-season, really and truly, as it should. So appreciate that. Get Telemans and we're cooking. What's good? I'm just there on my guy. Appreciate you lot, man. You lot seem to not be interested in sleep like myself. Rather bloated squad than empty like last season. Trust me. Really. You know, from a footballing perspective, purely footballing perspective, I think there's a reality, not even I think, you can clearly see having Leno fighting Ramsdale and being a number 2. Leno might not be the best, but he's definitely not the worst. And we could do a lot worse, than having Leno as an option. So I think Leno, obviously, I think Torreira could offer something in the 6th position. You know, I think we'd all admit Pepe's never going to be the talisman, and you would like another right winger. And if he wants to go. But if you could utilize him on the bench or a squad player rotation option, there's something there, really. You know, from a Haaland perspective, I'd keep Reece Nelson, but past Pepe, forgive me if I've missed any out, there's not really any footballing reasons. Like, I don't think keeping Bellerin, there's a footballing reason. That's unfortunately probably Nelson as well. That extends to Ainsley. Obviously could be utilized as a backup fullback, but clearly Arteta, it's not that he don't rate him because he's played him in some big games, but you're not favored really. Unless we go to a back 3, I don't see you starting at fullback, and unless Body's really dropping the squad, I don't think, rightly so, you're the centre mid we're looking for. Like, even as basic as the Congo is showing, it's significantly better than Ainsley. You know, I'm a big fan of Ainsley, but 5-yard passes, these sort of things, it needs to be a bit more crisper. It needs to be with a bit more urgency. I like the fact that Ainsley, for example, is very relaxed on the football, but sometimes it's 2 extremes, really. But yeah, apparently we ain't looking at lawyers, Carl. We got enough centre cams, but maybe Eddie's doing up chess tactics. I think you mean Paqueta. You know, it could be chess, it could be face value, man. Yes, DG, just a case of shifting out to Torreira, Ainsley, and Bellerin for Telemans, I believe. I hope so, but it's easier said than done. The masculine tag is killing me. I hear you, man. I hear you. Shout the Twitch ones. I was just thinking about which ones you had to add, really and truly, to be honest with you. So, yeah, man, that one there needed to be there, which is vital, isn't it? What are you lot saying, people? I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're all in good spirits, as I keep saying to you lot. What we saying? Oh, I'm back now. I couldn't see those comments. Paqueta is a no-brainer. It's probably a fallacy, if I'm honest with you. I think it's Telemans or Paqueta, because while Paqueta can play out wide, he's wavy, he can play in a number of roles, and where Zinchenko and a couple of players are concerned, he's obviously shown something in that regard. But I think it's a fallacy to expect Paqueta, Telemans, on top of obviously Fabio Vieira arriving at the football club, Zinchenko now, between being able to play as a 10, as an 8 and a centre mid, you've still got Smith Rowe, you still got Odegaard, you still got El Nene, you still got Lokonga, and you've still got Xhaka. You know, Partey speaks for himself. We all know an ability is Partey and someone. A part of me feels it's Xhaka and a partner, really and truly, even though it's a squad game. And I must admit, if I'm really scrutinising things, I would have loved to have had peace and clarity really over this midfield, whether it's someone that's able to do what Partey can do if the inevitable injury occurs, and someone, take nothing away from Xhaka, could be part of the squad, but clearly left-sided centre mid is the first area that needs to improve. You've got, you know, relationships building, you've got a potential winger, whether these links to Cody Gakpo and Bowen, and hit the like buttons, people. 150 likes, we get into that, or not happen is another thing, but you can't have all of that and then have a mediocre midfield. Really, you're not going to see the best from Odegaard in that 10. The real Thomas Partey, you've seen little dribs and drabs of it until you get that. And a lot of these players have a lot to arrest individually, but again, football is about relationships. When you play certain individuals week in, week out, not to criticize them like that, you sign up for things. Bowen, although unlike Rafinha, he isn't linked with other clubs. I mean, my personal opinion, we're not getting no Bowen. West Ham would be, you know, West Ham are trying to build their squad. They're getting Skamaka. They seem evidently quite frustrated in what's going on with Broja. Lingard obviously shagged them. Obviously, bringing in these recruitments are more attackers or players that are going to score goals. Bowen does that. You're going to obviously know how he ties in. If you want Bowen, you have to pay that English premium, similar to what we might have paid with Ben White and things like that. Bowen's going to cost something dumb. If they're saying 150, 100 million for Declan Rice on a good day, I'm not saying Bowen's going to be on more, but he's going to be on something dumb. For what it's worth, at face value, I'd take Bowen. Can play as a striker, can play on the left, can play on the right. You know, obviously, good dribbler, can score goals, could do a lot better in terms of scoring goals. And I think a team that's better could do such for him. So yeah, I would accept Bowen, but it's probably a myth, really. You know, you're gonna have to pay an arm and a leg, and then if you're gonna do that, you might as well have done certain things for other Brazilian dons. Maria, apologies. Check Pepe's Insta post, DG. I've seen it where he's talking about, he's playing a bit conservative. There's a lot of chess being played. When can you remember us playing that well? Seriously, I had to dig the memory banks. Maybe when Alexis and Oz were at their peak as we battered United. Probably that. There was definitely a game. There's been a couple against Chelsea at the Bridge, to be fair. I think there was one with Theo Walcott, Alexis. Definitely we done similar to Ozil and Alexis, you said there. I'm sure Mr. Hector Bellerin also scored. There was one time we absolutely butchered Liverpool at the Emirates. There's been some other times still. I leave my guy Marie alone. I'm sure Ben White got bodied against Tony and Lukaku. Bro, Ben White, bro, man, you're talking like Ben White's my guy like that, but still, man, listen, Ben White's shown he's a thug. Marie's never did it. At least Ben White can say, sorry, people, the apple juice is dang. At least Ben White can say he's done get backs. You know, he did it against Harry Kane and that. I don't know for that Marie, brother, man. Arsenal for life, shout Terry. Do you reckon Zinchenko will start over Kieran Tierney? Potentially, because Tierney's the better defender. Clearly, Zinchenko's better than Tierney going forward. Like, obviously, Tierney's my guy. I defend him every day. But he's a bit one-dimensional in a nice way. What you see is what you get, you know. You know what you're getting with Tierney. My man goes training with a Tesco's bag. You know what you're getting with a fit Tierney. He can offer something going forward. He can pass the ball, but Zinchenko's a 10 slash midfielder by trade, really. So he's got more of an eye for a pass. He can go down the flanks. He can play the more intricate things. So it all depends on what Arteta wants to do. You know, if we're playing a game like Liverpool where they got Salah on the right-hand side, would I rather Tierney or Zinchenko defending against him? The answer is Tierney. If we're playing a low block, really, pardon me, for example, I'm not saying Tierney can't start, but if we're playing a low block and you've got all them other creative dons on the pitch, Zinchenko could kind of go into midfield from fullback and be a bit of a midfielder, as well as providing the width. You could lean towards that. Gives him options, really. Ramsdale's distribution yesterday was incredible. That Ramsdale-Martinelli connection is dirty. Trust. Big up DG. The number 8 in the winger position, realistically, I mean, Ajax probably going to make people pay a pretty penny, but I'd have the conversation for Anthony at this point, if I'm completely honest. I mean, if West Ham was smoking something special and they would make Bowen somewhat affordable, I'd see what could be done. If we have done our due diligence over Cody Gakpo and they reckon they can develop him and use him, then cool. I think he is a development guy. I think he's one of them. If he goes Dortmund or plays under them development managers, he'll look lit. But for me, obviously, you know, it's difficult when you've been linked with certain players to go to that in it. And to a degree, at this moment in time, I don't really want to bring in people in wide areas that are not better than what we have. Obviously, you've got pure wingers. I wouldn't say that we're blessed with pure wingers, but guys that are probably wingers. I know Saka's shown in an Arsenal shirt he can play in a couple of other roles, but he's playing on the left or the right of the flanks. Martinelli, if he's not playing up front, he's playing on the flanks, really and truly. Pepe is there, technically. You know, you've got Smith. Then you're looking at the guys, the Smith Rose. You know, technically Fabio Vieira, whether he plays, there's another thing. That you've got them as well, really. So you've got a lot to consider. So if we're not bringing in better than what we've got, don't forget Eddie might even play off that left on occasion. Jesus might even play off the flank. So there's a lot of options. If you're not bringing in someone that, you know, if you got Rafinha, he had 11 Premier League goals last year. You know, Bowen, I'm sure must have had something decent. If you're not bringing in something that can bring to the table something we're lacking, you might as well work what we've got. I know you've got young Marquinhos. Technically, we don't know if Pepe or Nelson are going to be here, so it is what it is. But I have those conversations. I mean, I don't know what realistic is. We haven't got Champions League, but if you're able to have a conversation with Fabian Ruiz of Napoli, he's got a year left on his deal. I'd see what could be done, man. Jesus and Odegaard's goals, they were lit, man. Hopefully we can do it in the proper stuff, man. The Scouse accent as well, Gloves, I can't lie. Proper dedication, appreciate that, man. Late night gang finally getting some love. I hear that. Dedication makes champions. Great work, DJ. I appreciate that. Delighted with our business so far. What position is priority for you? Centre mid for me. I mean, part of me saying on the wing because, you know, I've been enticing myself. I know we're not going to rock up with some new Alexis Sanchez, but the names we've been, you know, Arsenal fans sold themselves the Sane dreams, the Gnabry dreams. You know, every week there's a next one. So if you could get someone that strikes fear into the fullbacks, and crucially, as much as I like Jesus and Nketiah are doing what they're doing, I don't know if they're going to score enough goals. So if you could get a wide man that could bring some numbers to the table, it could help offset that. But as I said, if you're not bringing in better than what we have, it's a myth. So I would say that on one hand, but I would say centre mid, bro. I'd say it's Arsenal Football Club, especially in the present day. This conversation has been going on way too long about central midfield, and I think, you know, as I said, now's enough. Now that needs to, after this summer, we need to have some serious conclusions over that, really and truly, because even with Xhaka and Partey, times they boss it together, you know that's a ticking time bomb. You know something's going to collapse, whether Partey has a bad game, Xhaka has a bad game, or either player's in bad form, or there's injuries or suspensions, or something happens. You know, on the best of days, it's a ticking time bomb, really. It's a problem that you kind of park off until later. And as you know, the more you do that, it builds up, and it's nothing personal. If we're honest with ourselves, our best centre mid can barely stay fit. And Granit's been here for 6 years. We're at with that. El Nene's a cool guy. He's not levels if you're looking at asking him to play 20, 30 games. At this moment in time, the same is extended to Lokonga. You know, Arteta and Edu were midfielders. We're Arsenal Football Club. We should not be having this conversation consistently. You know, defense wins you titles, strikers win you games, but it's the midfield battle week in, week out. And you still can't answer that question at this moment. What is our midfield? Don't get it twisted. You are seeing Arteta develop his blueprint and things, but I'm simply saying in terms of the personnel really available to us, especially away from home. I hate to be that guy and you can't go back in time, but could you imagine how different life looks if we get Bruno Guimaraes, people? Come on, he was there. Big up DG and the nation. I can get used to 2 streams a day from the GOAT. I appreciate that, man. We're gonna get our morning stream still 100, man. Was there news on Jesus when he went off looking concerned, holding his leg? I mean, I've gone on Arsenal.com. I have my, you know, tab police allow me. I've got my tabs up, people, so we'll cover all of that. One area Arsenal need to improve is the midfield. They need a midfielder to challenge Xhaka. I think we just need, if you could get a midfielder that is press resistant, a midfielder that can consistently get his head up and break the line, someone that's either a good dribbler or good ball carrier, someone that can drop it deep into, you know, to that defensive line and take the ball to centre half, turn and show a variety of passing. You know, someone that can control the tempo of a game. Someone that for these Odegaards and these sort of technical men that are at the Emirates now, that they can link up with and things, you know, be that somewhat Santi Cazorla to the Mesut Ozil and Alexis. Easier said than done. On the best of days with Xhaka and Partey, obviously they're professional footballers and they can pass the ball. Sometimes they play consistent, great passes. Neither player are in the team or have made it or are world renowned for such. So we need someone that can do the things that I just said. And then it becomes a case of depth, really, because if it was up to me, Respectfully to El Nene, 3 midfielders would have rocked in, 2 number 8s and a 6. And then the next thing is we just need to improve. Will we get our regular 6:30 a.m. stream tomorrow morning? Yeah, if that equates to 11:30 UK time, yeah. Would you take Ben Foster as a reserve if Leno leaves? Only if he says he'll do a collab on my YouTube channel, not never other than that myth. Has Sambi switched from an 8 to a 6? Seems like it from last night. I mean, he's spoken as being able to do both roles. Until I see some significant improvement, I think it's uncertain you'll make it as a 6. I think that's you. Big up DG. Do you really think that we need Telemans now that we have Zinchenko? Yeah, because I think our midfield still isn't lit all levels. Ramsdale was great yesterday. We really need a backup for Saka and Xhaka. Unpopular opinion, I don't think Telemans is an upgrade on Xhaka. I think he is. I don't think he's a significant upgrade. I don't think it's wow, like we've arrived. But I hear that. If Jesus gets an injury, he's the worst player to be out of our team. We need another striker in centre mid. I was having that debate with my friends, and if Jesus gets injured, we're back to square one. To be honest with you, Xhaka or Partey at this moment in time get injured, we're back to square one. If something happens with Ramsdale, I think we're in trouble. We all know what happens potentially with the fullbacks as well. So there's many players really that could take that claim. But you're right, Jesus, we're back to square one. And that's where if we could bring in a goal-scoring winger, and again, in theory, if Eddie could score goals, and show he can, and in an ideal world, if you could bring in someone who could be a decent third choice option if it's not solved in-house, you give yourselves more clarity. We're doing this Brazilian thing, so Paqueta, DG Nocturnal now, something like that. Any thoughts on Pepe saying he's committed to Arsenal today on IG? Nothing too serious, but is he worth keeping for the squad potentially? But I think we're at where we're at with him, and you've got to take them things there at face value. We know he's got a new agent. We know he's not playing games. The conversation as to, Arsenal probably happy to move him on, and potentially he wants to move on. I'm not saying he doesn't want to make it here. I'm not saying he's not comfortable here, but these are the realities. And respectfully, he's hardly going to say anything else on his Instagram. It's not going to, boost his chances. Arsenal and Pepe, I'm sure they both want to depart, more so Arsenal, but we have to be open to reality where he's here, at least for the next 6 months until January or something could be done. So it wouldn't help his case to say what really was on his mind if that wasn't wasn't exactly what was on his mind, bro. So it's a difficult one to really look at. Man said Sane, Telemans, Livramento needed. If it's that easy, I would love it as well. But the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. I'm really fearing us missing out on Telemans to United because De Jong is looking unlikely, but I still have optimism. Tuchel even said same quality with the same players. That is damning. Trust me, he was rattled. He's salty, but he was rattled, man. DG in zombie mode. Love the commitment. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. Amen, man. Facts on Ainsley Maitland-Niles. He needs to tighten things up. Like Pepe, he can be loose in doing the simplest things. And that's the thing, Some days they're brilliant. Some days they're not. And as a manager, it must do your head in because I don't think Ainsley Maitland-Niles is mad sick and that, but I don't think it's an ability thing with Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Arteta. I don't think the same with Pepe. It's just kind of what you said. Sometimes you don't know what you're signing up for. Sometimes, we're sitting here and Ainsley scoring mad penalties and he's getting called up to England and we're rejecting bids. Other than that, sometimes we don't even know he's playing. More time, we only know Ainsley's playing is because we're making more of a meal of it. Sometimes Pepe's the best player on the pitch. Other times he's a loose cannon. And as a manager, that probably would do your head in. Really. That's why guys respectfully, nothing to diss El Nene. El Nene might play because he might not be. Obviously, there's been games he's been lit, but worst comes to worst, if you was to throw him in for 5 to 10 games, El Nene is going to give you minimum 5, 6s out of 10. He's not going to be amazing. He's not going to be terrible. With Ainsley and Pepe, it's going to fluctuate a lot more. Which one are you going to be more comfortable in? Obviously, that's sometimes Pepe can win you a game. Sometimes he can cost you one. That's something to bear in mind. That's why I wouldn't rule him out being here, by the end of the window. But in an ideal world, these sort of players probably need to be moved on by Arsenal. I think Telemans would flop. Shout the members and shout the Twitch gang. His work rate wasn't great last season. I mean, check the metrics. That's a bit harsh, man. Although maybe Arteta could get the best out of him, would prefer Paqueta though. Brazilian bias. I hear that the Brazilian drip would be lit. In my opinion, Paqueta to me is pointless as we've got enough cams anyways. It is pointless. It's very slightly. If Paqueta is not going to play left side at 8, it's not helping anything beyond being a wavy Brazilian don, probably putting on the show at the Emirates and doing stuff. But Yeah, I don't think I froze. I just don't think I stopped. I think I stopped speaking. Would you take Souček by default? Yeah, but I'm not really keen on that. I'm willing to give Pepe a final chance this season. I mean, it's not even a chance thing. I'm just at where I'm at, man. Like, if I wake up one day and it's completely different, it is what it is. But I'm at that point now where Pepe is concerned. When it's not an ability thing, that's where I'm more pessimistic. Because I'm not saying Pepe can be the maddest in the Prem, but it's not an ability thing, you know. In terms of looking at the Arsenal side, Pepe is probably one of the most exciting players to look at. But it's all the other stuff. So it's time to just done it off, man. If it happens, it happens, man. 50, 60 million for Bowen isn't the worst. I mean, West Ham ain't taking that. Unless he really, you know, unless he really digs his heels in, burns his bridges, and Arsenal get a deal, he ain't doing that, really. And that's one that Bowen, West Ham are going to need to find a replacement. That's one that's going to drag out through the summer, really. Maybe even longer than Telemans, really. So, yeah, I think that's a myth. Just dealt with him. Ben White dealt with Antonio. I think Partey, Xhaka, and Odegaard is good enough if top four's the target with Zinchenko, Vieira, El Nene, Sambia's back. I don't, man. I don't. Because when it's do I feel more? It's nothing to do with these players necessarily, but do I feel confident going into top 6 games where really our top record against the top 6 is mediocre to be nice? Does it make me feel better away from home when it's crunch time? Does it make me feel there's match winners? Because sometimes you're gonna play rubbish. Sometimes you've just been rubbish. Everything's gone wrong. And when you've got good players, whether it's a mentality, whether it's ability, you can win games that you deserve to lose. You can draw games that you deserve to get nothing out of. You know, that's what football league and the Premier League, you know, and they've shown it with getting to finals and stuff. Do you think they're great every week? You think Klopp, it's all just jumping around, shouting, boom? Sometimes he's probably vexed, you know. Again, who was it who did Liverpool play? Was it Villarreal or something? They almost went out of the Champions League. But it's how good are you at your worst? When City won the league of the last day of the season, they were 2-0 down against Villa. You know, do I feel more confident that these players are going to be able to help us draw back points from losing positions? No, that's not a criticism of theirs. It's just we've been down this road, you know, really and truly. How many times are we going to keep watching the same movie and expecting a different ending? Really? So I don't think it's good for that, man. Butchered Liverpool. We 100% did a few years ago. You came to the Emirates, Bellerin scored, Alexis and Ozil scored. It definitely did. Definitely got dealt with at the Emirates. Where's the kit? Bellerin, I think Bellerin was wearing vapors them times as well. Tierney can probs play left centre back. The 3, you don't really want to see that in a 4. Realistically, how many more signings would you be happy with? 2. If you do something with the wingers, get a centre mid in. All right. Hate this debate about what happens to Ben White. The fact we have some depth / competition is something special. Amen. Anthony was flopping the Prem watching versus Melanza. Shout. I think Tierney's form suffered due to us having to get him on the pitch when he's not 100% fit. That case could be said for several players, man. I know Tierney is very injury prone, so Zini would have to play there instead. I can't lie, Jesus looks lethal. Trust, I hope that City muscle memory doesn't run out, man. Bro, Jesus is just mad, innit? He can, like I said, for me, it's just Brazilian and that's the first thing. He's obviously lovely technical ability, 25 years of age. You know, I think he could score a lot. I think he could score enough goals for us. I don't know about next season, but I think we could develop him to be a goal scorer. He's an intelligent man. He links up well. He's humble. He works hard on the pitch. He acts like he's the shittest guy on the pitch. He puts in the hard graft. He pulls out into the left and the right hand channels. He drops deep into midfield, does the Lacazette thing. He offers an outlet because he's not slow. Very instinctive and calm and collective finisher. Obviously, he hasn't really got the record to show it, and it is only pre-season. But that little finish yesterday, man, just to dink Mendy, it could be lit, man. And, you know, shout out Teddy and Nketiah for his cameos towards the end of the season, and now Jesus. I know we had Aubameyang, but Aubameyang got froze out for a large period of time, and take nothing away from Lacazette. You know, there was a large part. Lacazette was the guy for us for a piece last season. Pause. But he's got no legs, man. He can't run in behind, man. He's not a threat, especially when teams are feeling a bit confident and they're gambling and they're pushing their defensive line further forward. You know, when you play Liverpool, for example, and you know Salah's quick, as a defender, you're going to drop off a couple of yards. He's still going to breeze you, but you're going to give yourself half a yard. Against Lacazette, everyone's going to fancy it in a foot race, really. It's mad. Man trying to flog us, Phil Jones, leave it out. Hope you are well, my G. We need Partey replacement, otherwise we lose quality and control. Think Fabio can be good for us in midfield. Trust. Needs to eat some hard food, but yeah. Paqueta is the one for me. I think he's the one for everyone. Paqueta, Milinkovic, Savic, dream world, man. We just need to break the bank and go for Savic. Vieira can play 10 and can also play Xhaka and is less injury prone. I mean, one thing I'll give Xhaka, he's fairly physical in it. I need to see that from Fabio Vieira. I'm not saying Xhaka's the guy, but he's a bit of a brute to a degree, and I think that's as close as we're going to get. Obviously, Partey's got it by default, Uncle Partey, but Fabio Vieira, I'm going to need to see it. I have no doubt you could do the Arsenal thing, the 1-2s and playing in the Santi role when the sun's shining and things, but when it's trench talk and trench time and you know, the 12th man is getting on top of us and we need to hold it. I need to see that you can hold it. Really. Shout out to you lot, man. Top opinions as normal. We're still not at 150 likes, people. We need 30 more. We're at 120 top form. But we could do a lot better, people. Come on, you're better than this. You're better than this, folks. So, yeah, it is what it is where that's concerned. Sane is the dream. I think you said Olise would be realistic. I mean, Olise 35 million release clause. I can't see it happening. Arsenal need high quality depth all over the pitch. So if someone gets injured, levels don't drop. Tell them again. If we get Noah Lang, Arteta chucks him out of the squad within a week due to his terrible attitude. I mean, Ize's lit, but he needs to prove he can stay fit. Arsenal tactics a myth, man. Pepe will make it. He ain't going anywhere. Shout out G1. Less of that, man. Marquinhos looks serious at 19. I've not seen enough to put him and serious in the same word, but I hear that. Matt Turner can play if Ramsdale's injured, and Martinelli can play over Jesus if he's injured, so we should be good. I hope so, but I don't know for Matt Turner, innit? Good day from Australia, buddy. What's the story with Vieira, Partey, Tomiyasu? They've all come to Arsenal with no history of injury, then all of a sudden are now injury prone. What's up with that? I wish I had the answers, man. I wish I had the answers, but I don't, man. If I had the answers, it is what it is. Also, bringing Ferran Torres back from Barca would be a decent option if they would get rid of him. It's a conversation to have, but I can't see it happening. What are the odds we get Telemans our rating? First things first, love for the super chat. And I don't know, man. You'd imagine the bookies, you wouldn't make too much of a return if you put a bet down on Arsenal to sign Telemans, but you never know, man. Watching the Orlando game live made me appreciate El Nene a bit more against an MLS side, of course, but still look the best out of Sambi and Ainsley. Centre mid, centre defensive mid is definitely needed. Ainsley and Pepe look questionable, maybe because they know their futures lie away from it, really. You think Prem will be more competitive? Everyone seems to be strengthening. I mean, that's the conversation we have every year, so I expect so. If something happens to Jesus, it would be worse than before because there was Oba, Laka, and Eddie before. Now it's just Eddie, in brackets, my guy. We got the spine to a team, a goalie, centre-back, centre-mid, striker. We lose any of those four, we're meaty. It's worrying, bro. I just keep getting flashes of Saliba bossing things in our shirt. He's a warrior. Hopefully that can extend to Saliba in the Premier League. The team is heading in a... Don't you dare turn off. Sorry, folks. The team is heading in a good direction. I just want the positive progress to continue. Big up yourself, DJ, and everyone. Vieira needs to strengthen up a bit. Way too small for midfield. Yeah, he'll be all right, man. But it's just a mentality thing. And again, the balance, because you got to remember, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, they might be small in terms of height and stature, but they've got core. You can't just get the ball off them. Like it's not a that thing. DG, what do you think about turning Tavares into a winger like Redknapp did with Bale? I'd love for that to happen on James Bond, really, but I can't see it. And, he probably does need to revert back to out wide. For Tavares, let's just park that off for a year. Hope that £8 million player can improve. And worst comes to worst, turn into a £16 million player, makes some peas. Smith Rowe is injured. Pedro Neto will be a decent option. But again, Wolves are going to try and do a madness. I almost forgot Smith Rowe plays for Arsenal. Seems like he's falling off the radar a bit. Matt Turner is all right. I wonder how he would play under pressure, though, like at West Ham or something. Exactly. And you know what? I think he just looks like third choice quality. But I want to be wrong. Pardon me. Hey, bro, you good? Just an interesting point. Would you rather buy an overlapping option at right back to give us more variety? I can't be asked with Cedric, or buy a left centre back. Obviously, Tomiyasu and White can play right back, and Tomiyasu plays left centre back for his country. But if you had to pick, what would it be? Let me read that again, my guy. Right back still, because we could with Zinchenko, and if you could sign another right back, it puts to bed them questions there now, really. So I'd say right back. Sure, we ain't even seen Vieira play. Paqueta is coming to Newcastle. Arsenal have called their interest. See what he's doing. Pre-season chips, them ones don't go in when the season starts. Crazy, man. We saying De Gea flopping from a set piece ain't gonna happen in the Premier. I hear that. 10 months. Right. Eddie's control with the ball is terrible. I can't lie. That's a bit harsh. It's not lit, but I hear that. I truly believe that we should keep Pepe. I know he's subpar in the wing, but if Arteta can turn him into a backup centre forward, he will score many goals, at least 10 minimum. I hear that, Carl, but I'm tired now, man. It's just a bench rotation thing. Try your thing in the Europa League group stages, play him up front, but man, it's a myth. If Tini can't stay fit, I'd cash in next summer. To be fair, everyone looks better when Partey plays. Pepe and Ainsley are hardly on the pitch with him. Agenda, check it out. Would you give Torreira a chance as a backup? Also, can you say hi to my girlfriend, Kyra? We love your streams. Kyan, it sounds so mad, but shout out your girlfriend, Kyra. Shout out to you lot. Appreciate you lot. And in relation to Torreira, yeah, on ability, but all things in consideration, he just needs to keep it moving, yeah. Realistically, if Torreira stayed, then I don't think there's no need for an El Nene new deal. Why are we looking at Glenn Kamara from Rangers? He was here already. Allow me. Milinkovic-Savic is clear of Telemans. He would be a massive signing. DG, do you think Arteta has a blind spot when it comes to dealing with the centre mid area? Well, evidently, at this moment in time. If we're talking wingers, then you could say Sane, Lang, Gonalves, Gakpo, Diaby, Doku, Chiesa, Elise, Zaha. If you're ready, who would you be choosing? I mean, I'd love Chiesa out of all of them, but that's a myth. Should have signed him when he was at Fiorentina. Sane's a myth, but he's welcome. Diaby for a certain price would be welcome. Wouldn't be against Zaha. Wouldn't force the boat out. Wouldn't expect immediate impact from Elise, but he's welcome. For the right price, Doku. Gonalves is interesting. I'd leave Noah Lang alone. I'd read whatever scouting reports Arteta has on his table for Gakpo and then read some more and then see what could be done there, really. Matt Turner looks meaty. Man's running out of Arsenal vibes. Give it some time and we're looking at a dead goalkeeper. Why do I have a feeling that Chelsea are going to come fifth next season? I was speaking to a Spurs fan and he thought the same. I haven't really been able to speak about other things, man. United be able to hold on to Leeds. Shout out Callum Chambers, man. Showing man them how to do it. Who is the next player? I wish I knew, man. I wish I knew. Yeah, I don't know, Cam, man. It's crazy, man. I'm so gassed for this season, man. Arteta has us cooking. I don't know about cooking, man. I think the water's boiling. Whether you want to be able to whether you're waiting for the water to turn up to an appropriate temperature and put the pasta in and make sure you're cooking it right is another thing, innit? But the gas is on. The water's boiling. It's not bubbling yet. You just pull it on the stove. Let's see what we can do beyond that, innit? I get the preseason optimism and things like that, but boy, I need to see certain areas addressed. And it's a bit odd that we haven't signed any midfielders, given Arteta and they do worse centre midfielders. You really ain't feeling Noah Lang? I want to be wrong. Our man's up, don't see it, really. I don't see it, man. Newcastle will be the surprise team this season. I'm not just talking about mid-table finish either. I hear that, man. My focus is purely on Arsenal, man. My expectations are fourth in FA Cup or fifth in Europa League. We don't have the coaching experiences yet to challenge. Don't think anyone expects Arsenal to challenge for anything. Can't keep my eyes open. Don't know how you got the energy, DG. Respect tonight. Go to bed, my guy. They'll be here in the morning, man. Shout out to you. Adam, appreciate you for becoming a YouTube member. How are you rating the season if we finish fifth but win Europa, DG? Well, I mean, if things were different, I can't lie. Certain man might still get the save. If it's up to me, you might have to still sack people and get a manager that could show me that you can get fourth, because 8th, 8th, 5th, 5th. I'm sorry, but like we need a manager that can do this thing in the 38 game period. You know, again, you'd have won a European competition and things like that. If we were running a certain way, then it could be a fakes for the memories thing, similar to how I swear United did Van Gaal dirty. He won the FA Cup and then they got rid of him, and that thing, or how Newcastle dealt with Steve Bruce, just to kind of do that. But I'd accept it would be in the Champions League, but I'd definitely be looking at people very funny. But then I'd be prepared to shut up, because if you shut up about it, that would mean the following summer, in theory, there should be a bit of, decent amount of money to go around and be spent. So we'd have to see. We'd have to see in that regard. To me, I want someone who is enthusiastic about playing at this club and fully committed. Telemans is an Arsenal fan, and his agent already put it out there that he would reject other clubs for Arsenal. Yeah, but this is a business, man. People are predicting second place finishes for Spurs, and people are sleeping on Arsenal saying we'll get 5th, 6th. They forgot Conte flopped second season at Chelsea. Well, let's just do what we're doing and see where we're at in it, really. Steve Bruce deserved to be. So I'm not saying he didn't, but I just remember the interviews. Like, everybody knew it. It's like, I can't even remember who asked him, but it's like they were talking. They're asking him who's going to be the next Newcastle manager. It's like, you're getting the clip. That's the angle I'm on. How do you think Saliba will play since he was playing amazingly for Marseille? I think he will show his inexperience at times, but I'm confident about him. Hopefully he can keep on working and improving. Mateus Nunes would be a litty signing, my guy. It would be a litty signing. If we was ruthless, that would be the case, but winning Europa League, getting into champs, I'll firm that. But we'd have to get top 4 after that, even challenge due to how long he's been here. I mean, I'll shut up about it because it means money might be spent in the following summer. You know, we might be able to get certain Champions League targets. I can see that we've hit 150 likes, people. Promise is a promise. So let's get into transfer news. Where shall we start? Let's start from back to front. Oh, let's actually... Is there anything else in relation to Arsenal and Google on that? Tuchel's really not happy. Arsenal's rattled into the core. Really? Where's my juice? Sorry, folks. There it is. All right, cool. So there's nothing else. So we just have to get into all of this, people. Let's see what all of this is about. Hit the like button if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't, people. Talks continue. Fabrizio Romano says one Arsenal transfer is dragging as season opener approaches, people. Obviously, this is in relation to Leno. Fulham are taking their sweet time. According to Fabrizio Romano, there's still nothing in place for Leno to move on from Arsenal, with the transfer guru saying the deal is dragging. The negotiation for Leno with Fulham has been dragging on for some time. For the moment, talks continue, but so far, there's still no agreement on the price. So we'll have to see what's going on with Leno, people. He doesn't appear to be on the move. Several outlets are talking about Nuno Tavares. Apparently, he's moving closer to an Atalanta loan, and I know he played in the second half, obviously against Chelsea. He's a future you'd probably be looking at, especially with us having Tierney and obviously signing Zinchenko. Saka should never play left back for this club again unless an extreme scenario. But if there was an extreme scenario where only Bukayo Saka and Tavares are the fittest guys able to play left back, if your life was on the line, you'd rather Saka play left back than Tavares, really and truly. But Tavares is now close to sealing a move to Atalanta. Hopefully, Gasperini and Atalanta can get a trick out of him, develop him, turn him from an £8 million player into a 16 one. You know, so I don't know if Arsenal should be so close to commit to a buy option on him, but I could see why if they cut their losses. DiMarzio has claimed that the deal is edging closer and closer. It will be a dry loan with no option or obligation to buy, people. So we have to see how that one day develops, people. You got to take anything that comes out of them, out of Italy with a pinch of salt relating to Arsenal. Apparently, Balogun is among the Reims targets to replace Hugo Ekitike, who's obviously signed for PSG. That would be a fantastic loan spell. Or if they bid enough money, that would be a fantastic loan spell for Balogun. He play in France, play in a top division. It speaks for itself, innit? And build on the experience he gained in 6 months against for Middlesbrough. I don't think he's ready. You never know. He could hang around, but I think you need games. Minutes are currency. I don't think hanging around the 18s, waiting for the occasional cup games, 23, is going to help him. But yeah, that would be a good look, really, if he was to go back there. Arsenal and this mystery winger, it's all a bit boring, people. Apparently, Fabrizio Romano said, good question. I will try to find out and tell you in the coming days. Many rumours for many players like DRB, the Leverkusen winger, but the player is very clear. He wants to stay at Leverkusen. He has no intention to leave, and Leverkusen, when approached, have been asking for 70 million euros. So it's a really complicated deal. So we'll see. I'm sure Arsenal will go with their own ideas as they did with Vlahovic in January. They wanted Vlahovic, but it was impossible because the player only wanted to join Juventus. And I think Edu was perfect in that situation, not wasting money on the striker they weren't trusting, but waiting and signing Gabriel Jesus in the summer because he was the main target. Okay. Gabriel Jesus reveals surprising stats from Edu and Mikel Arteta helped transfer decision, people. They showed me the project and everything about the club. Then they showed me some stuff about my statistics. I was so surprised they wanted to come to help me improve as a player. So yeah, that's why I came here. I hear that. That was a bit underwhelming. And I thought he was going to talk about some analytical stuff. Speaking of Edu, I like him a lot. Paqueta to Arsenal. Edu has admitted that he is an admirer of the Brazilian international, but he won't be given the green light to a move this summer as he feels that Arsenal already have enough quality in the same position. In that 10/ role, you could argue we're well. If he was in negotiations with Vion, I'm not saying he isn't. It's a game of chess. And again, similar to Telemans, we probably need to see some outgoings before we see some come in. I'm very respectful when I talk about Lucas. I am a guy who likes him a lot. I've always liked him since my time with Brazil's national team. Pardon me. He's had a great season. He was considered the best overseas player in the French league. But today, there isn't really any kind of talk. There's only my admiration for the player. Because the squad today is in the position he plays. I think we're very well served in this regard. And obviously, with Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Zinchenko's ability to play there, you could argue we are. Really, we need probably pure centre mid targets. So that puts to bed anything he was saying in relation to him. He just got pure admiration. Paqueta hype seems to be dead and buried, really and truly. So yeah, he said we're very thinking. Apparently, Eddie went on to say, "I'm very pleased, but to say how close is difficult because there's still a lot to do. We are in the middle of a transfer window and things can happen. What we have to be is really focus and be prepared for every single situation. Opportunities maybe can happen. Clubs can sometimes come to us to see if there's a possibility to get players on loan or buy players. We just have to be prepared. And I think we are very much prepared for almost anything. We have a plan for every player in the squad. And that's why I said there's still a lot to do in this transfer window because we have to balance the squad in the best possible way. For the players who probably aren't going to have a lot of minutes here, we have to expose the players to have minutes in another place to keep developing the player, to keep the player's valuation. So that's why we plan it, says Edu. Very interesting words from Edu, really and truly, in that regards, folks. We're almost at 200 likes. Keep running that up. Thank you very much, my late ones. Again, Ben Jacobs kind of confirming in relation to what we just found out about Leno to Fulham. Apparently, they tried 7 million plus £3 million offer, which they felt was strong given Leno's contract is winding down. Leno wants to move and has encouraged Arsenal to lower their asking price. Arsenal want 15 million all in. We'll have to see how that one develops, people. Pablo Mari is on the list of Fenerbahce and Verona in Italy. Torreira, there are many interested clubs, including Valencia, but Arsenal want to sell only on their terms, says Fabrizio Romano. People, let's close that. What is that? Arsenal open to letting Nicolas Pepe leave, but at the moment there is no official offer yet. The player himself also changed agents this summer in an attempt to get a move, but it is proving a tricky sell for evident reasons, people. That all depends, people, because if you look at this, remove that, and then look at this. I am focused and determined. Nicolas Pepe sends message to Mikel Arteta over his Arsenal future. Now, again, he isn't going to say anything different in the public domain. What he says privately, if he does say things privately, is a completely different thing. I worked hard during the summer, changed a lot of things, Pepe said on Instagram. I am focused and determined with Arsenal and my teammates. Hopefully you are, Nicholas. Hopefully you are. In relation to Bowen, Arsenal have a meeting with West Ham winger Jarrod Bowen's representatives next month. The mystery winger target is not just a one-man list, and Arsenal exploring options. This won't be the first time Arsenal have met Bowen's camp. And I remember the Beautiful Game podcast initially broke the news a few months ago about our interest in Bowen. Now, we all know we're not getting Bowen. It's going to cost ridiculous money from West Ham. They want to build the team around him. He's actually got a World Cup to think about. And you know you're going to be playing week in, week out for West Ham. it might be best to stay there and then a year from now or after, at least until January, sort out your future. I'm not saying he wouldn't be enticed by moving to Arsenal or anywhere else. I just don't think it's going to happen, mainly purely because West Ham are going to ask for an arm and a leg. There has been some West Ham, the ex-West Ham employee, I can't lie, he seems to be a bit of an in the know for the West Ham fans. There's been some talk that Arsenal want to make a move for Bowen. We have been told that the club have no intentions of selling and will in fact be offering a new, much improved contract when the transfer window closes. So maybe that's where that rumor came from, people. Again, from one in the know to the other, Coin Marble says the agent of Saka was at London Coley today, which was the 23rd of July, along with Richard Garlick. Arsenal put forward a contract worth 150 a week for the 20-year-old England winger. Arsenal extremely confident he will sign on, and I'm sure we will hope for as well. Fabrizio Romano said in relation to Nuno Tavares, Arsenal will make final decision on Nuno Tavares deal next week. There are talks on going with Atalanta over loan move, but key point is the buy option clause, whether it will be included or not. Nuno keen on the move. Talks will continue in the coming days. So, yeah, once again, Edu said there's still a lot to do. We're in the middle of a transfer market and things can happen. We're prepared for every single situation. Opportunities maybe can happen, people. So make of that what you will. Nuno Tavares is hoping to leave Arsenal on loan this summer, which is good, man. Do what you need to do, really and truly, wherever. That's all of this in relation to Arsenal. Shout out you lot for being tuned in, folks. I don't know. That's just confirming what we know. We already saw that. We know we've signed Zinchenko, folks. Apparently, Zinchenko has an 81.5% win rate, people, in relation to his Premier League games in the 76 he's played. And he's got 4 titles and only lost 11 times. Arsenal have lost more games last season alone, so he's going to be in for a culture shock. Before this summer, Arsenal had never signed a player from Man City in the Premier League era, and now we've signed 2, a bit like buses. 2 come at the same time. Arteta said, we are improving a lot, people. He said, yeah, I'm really happy with the performance in general and with the tour, the attitude from the club, perspective to show here, and all the work we have done, and understand how big we are and the amount of support that we get. Then obviously the performance today is a really good example again that we are moving forward, improving a lot as a team, but don't get carried away. It's a test match and there are still a lot of things to do to get better. Amen. Mikel Arteta on the win, Saliba and injury news, people. How long is this? Mikel Arteta said, well, he bigged up the supporters, people. He then bigged up the need to get transfers done early. He said it's ideal for any coach that you ask. The earlier you get players, the better, because you need to get them in the cohesion of the team, understanding each other, relaxed and comfortable socially around the team. And the fact that Jesus has been with us for a few weeks makes a huge difference. And whether the result changes anything about the transfer strategy, no. He said nothing. Again, don't get carried away. There were a lot of positives. There are a lot of things we can do much better, much better for that matter. But then we have done today as well, and we have to continue to improve as a team. On his options in the team, I focus on the players that I have here available. We know what we like to do is to get the best from the players that we have. On the back foot at the moment, Tierney and Tomiyasu are not fit. We have other options, but I think it was good to try different things to build some relations in big matches. I'm happy with the way we played. He spoke on Zinchenko. He said he's desperate to play, and I knew that. It was maximum 45 minutes, but you could see straight away he was comfortable. He understands everything that I want. He understands the process, and I thought he had a really good game. He spoke about Saliba. I am really pleased to see the way he is playing, the way he has adapted to the team, the maturity that he has shown at 21 years old. Carry on doing it. We'll keep developing. He has huge potential. He's already a top player. We have to make him even better. And if you're Saliba, that must be very encouraging hearing your manager say that. On if he's ready. He looked ready to me today. So take at that what you will. It's Saliba's opportunity to fumble or take advantage on. He spoke on Fabio Vieira and Tomiyasu. Tommy is really close to start. Yeah, really close to start doing some training sessions. So close to starting training sessions. That's what it said there, people. Hopefully next week, and Fabio probably a little bit longer. So Fabio Vieira, if anything, the bench for Crystal Palace. I think he needs another week or so before he starts with the team. But he's been working hard and he's been really unlucky to start his Arsenal career in this way. But again, he's fitting in well. He said Jesus is basically okay. He got a knock in the first half in his squad. I think it was, and it wasn't very comfortable to continue. Obviously, we didn't take any risk today. He spoke on the tour, said we had a great time. on the depth of our squad. He said, we are where we are. Obviously, at the moment, we have injuries. You can see that we are still a bit short in some positions for the way that we want to play. So that tells you certain squad players, we know what's going to happen to them. But it's something that we're trying to address. We have increased the quality of the team for sure. And the level of squad is obviously something that we want to keep raising. He spoke about Gabriel Jesus in relation to the Golden Boot. He said, I have no clue. We're in preseason. What I can guarantee you is that he's going to do everything that he can do to be the best player he can be. That's it. He then spoke on signing American players, which, again, isn't necessarily relevant, people. Which is calm. I didn't actually see Edu's comments, but he said Zinchenko ticks all the boxes. Bloody hell, people. He said, I'm very pleased to see how we're working as a team here in the club. We put a plan together and some plans in place, and Zinchenko was on our list. We've been very proactive to start to talk to the agents, to start to talk to City, and we are pleased to have a player here because he has the attributes which I am sure are going to put our squad on a different level. We know he's got big mentality. He's got a lot of character, people. I'm going to skip that because we know that with Zinchenko. On Mikel speaking to Zinchenko, he said, for sure, every single player that we target, we discuss a lot every single point. As I mentioned, characteristics, the mentality, the commitment of the players. This is so important to understand before you really go into target the players. So, yeah, of course, Mikel and myself had a big discussion about him as well. He said, that's the plan. That's the plan in place. As I am saying to you, I am pleased because when we plan something and we have been very proactive to start to do things, and we have a lot of support from the club, from the owners, from everyone around us to stick to the plan and go for the players that we target, that's the teamwork, and I'm so proud because I can see the plan that we did 6 or 7 months ago happening today in the right way. So it's really nice to see the way we are playing. He spoke on, Zinchenko linking up with his new teammates and things. He said the main part of that, he said some players take a bit more time because you have to negotiate, we have to convince, we have to talk. So there are a lot of things around it. But our main focus in the beginning of the transfer window is to try to get the players that we target as soon as we can to enjoy and be here and be together and to start the season the way we planned it. It's so nice to have him here, and he'll have opportunities to know his colleagues, the coaching staff, even the owners, everyone. It's important to the players' adaptation. So it's adaptation. Sorry, people, I'm just getting late, isn't it? So it's nice to have him here. Jesus playing, on the road. Jesus played in the signing. Mikel is telling people our strategy to sign players. No, of course, we have to use what we have, not to convince, but to talk to the players that we target, because there are some doubts, there are some ideas, there are some comments to the players to make them feel really comfortable. And of course, Gabriel and Zinchenko have played together, so they know each other very well. We just said to Gabby to explain to him what is Arsenal, because he's already faced it, he's already here, and he's already enjoying it. So that's why we used a little bit of Gabriel to talk to him. On possible outgoings, again, we've seen that comment, but once again, we have a plan for every single player in the squad, and that's why I said there's still a lot to do in this transfer window, because we have to balance the squad. So he's told you we're going to be proactive, and we're not necessarily done in the best way possible. For players who probably aren't going to have a lot of minutes here, we have to expose the players to have minutes in another place to keep developing the player, keep the idea, keep the player's valuation high. So that's the way we plan it. And then again, he said, on the business so far, I am pleased, but to say how close is difficult because there's still a lot to do. We're in the middle of a transfer window and things can happen. What we have to do is be really focused and be prepared for every single situation. Opportunities maybe can happen. Clubs can sometimes come to us to see if there's a possibility to get our players on loan or buy players. We just have to be prepared. And I think we are very much prepared for almost everything. So that's that in relation to Pepe's Instagram post. Edu speaking on Paqueta, etc., folks. We're not really what you would want to hear. What are you lot saying? Because I was leaving you lot hanging, people, as I was getting through that. One love to you lot tuned in. Ainsley needs to go and Lokonga needs a loan to move to a lower Prem team, even Championship. Like you said, Saka should never play left back for Arsenal again. He's beyond that now. Could imagine City or Liverpool telling Mahrez or Salah to play left wing or wing back. To be fair, he'd probably do that there. Sevilla just so Conde they can use that money for Pepe. Hopefully, love for the super chat. You're the man. Sky's the limit for you. God bless. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Big up yourself, DG, doing the twilight shift. I see. Is top a realistic target after yesterday's performance? Listen, top 4 is all we should be looking at. Anything beyond that's a bonus, man. Get the likes up. Come on. Tomiyasu will probably not play in the Palace game. Arsenal for the wingers, I do hope it's quality and not another project. As for the other roles, probably only going to get one more 8 and probably a left-sided centre back. I hear you, and we probably need. Sorry, folks, one sec. A lot more than that. It's getting kind of hot in here. It's too late for that. Reece Nelson carries. Don't know what happened there in terms of a mute, but what did you say? Reece Nelson carries my favorite number on his back, on his back. I'm waiting for him to leave to get the number so I can make him my 10-minute sub appearances. You're moving crazy. Saliba was more than ready for Arsenal after the Nice loan last summer. We wasted a season. Not really. I hear you, but I mean, he went and got confirmed games under Mikel Arteta. So, I mean, at Marseille. So I'm not with it at any of that. We can't sign Telemans when our rivals go after the likes of De Jong and Bellingham. Paqueta offers something unique, and not many teams have that. I love Pepe, but if we could get Lucas, he could easily be a good fit. But him or Telemans would get Arsenal to another level. But I do hope Arsenal's focus is to fix the holes. DG up this late. Come on, man. Appreciate that, my guy. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. That seems to be that, really. You got to grind, mate. You got to be putting in the shift, mate. You got to put in the shift. 5 more likes until we hit 200, man. I hope we wake up tomorrow and we've been linked with some litty names, but I can't necessarily see it. Top 4 race will be even more interesting this year. 4 teams all strengthening, going for 2 spots. I hear that. And someone's got to miss out, surely. Someone's got to be inconvenienced. Someone's got to be done dirty. Let me see what else is going on in relation to Arsenal links, folks. I want Cody Gakpo at Arsenal. Again, where's the Cody Gakpo links, man? We've been linked with Cody Gakpo, but whether he's going to make that happen is another thing. Again, he's very much a development player, though, ain't he? Firmly a development player. Sorry for any technical difficulties you might be facing. I want us linked with Gahuri. He's decent. Chelsea for 5th next season. Saliba needed another loan last season. And one thing I like is he was allowed to develop in peace in Marseille. Every good or bad game, a conclusion is going to be drawn on him. Much like this year, you can't escape it. It's football, but yeah, man. People got agendas to run. Doesn't seem like there's anything else, it really and truly, people. So I'm not going to waste your time even continuing to look. We need more signings, General. We do, man. We do. But hopefully they can arrive. But whether we sign them is a completely other thing. Saliba stats against Chelsea. 90% passes completed. 9% successful interceptions. 100% successful duels. He weren't tested that much, but it was calm. No one going in for Nkunku. It doesn't seem such. Savage and Sane would make a perfect summer, yeah, but it's going to cost a pretty penny. We need more power and flair in that midfield. Amen. I would prioritize getting the Deadwood out now. I hear that. There's every logic with doing something like that, really. You know, maybe we part that problem off, and now as the season's going on, we've given ourselves more work to do. You would have loved to have seen certain outgoing sooner rather than later, really. So, yeah, it is what it is. On the flip side, we've had Martinelli play as an emergency left back towards the end of some games last season. I mean, it's an option that we could do. Why don't we get Jed Spence, Ben White at right back is suspect? That's a bit harsh. I don't think it's suspect. But I mean, Jed Spence would have been decent. I'm no expert on Gakpo, but those YouTube clips show me some loose ball control. Kid needs some time to perfect his craft. Amen. The problem is, I'm not saying sign him because I'm fully with you. The problem is, a year from now, he could be dramatically better and Arsenal could be out of that. Osimhen's needed. Yeah, but we just signed Gabriel. Is this Eddie signed a new deal? That's probably all a myth. Is Pepe complicated things? I don't think so. I just think Pepe's move is complicated, whether it's his wages, whether it's the loan fee, whether it's selling him permanently. Pepe's not an easy one to get gone. The Gakpo should stay at PSV with an international break. Why not? We got 205 likes. Appreciate that. I don't think we have any centre defensive mids at this moment in time that I think's lit. Thoughts on Kakare as a free agent next summer? Ain't he close to signing a new deal at Lyon? But if that is the case, bring him. Would you go with Eddie Gabriel? Would you go with Eddie and Nketiah, Gabriel, Jesus, and Saka against Palace? There's every reason to try that. If it was just based on pre-season, yeah, maybe Martinelli saved his best till last. That was probably his best game against Chelsea pre-season. If it's based on pre-season, yeah, I would personally just go with Saka, Martinelli, And Gabriel Jesus. Last question. What we seen here? I'm trying to fall asleep now. Isco for free. This season will be interesting with the World Cup in the middle rather than at the end. Lots of internationals in big teams. Fatigue could be a problem for some teams if they don't get depth. I hear that. And once again, Paqueta has signed a new deal until 2027. I know it's not a popular one, but I'd look at Rabiot. Easy one to sign up. Nah, man, him and Arteta would clash really and truly. Last question from Tony. What do you think went wrong with Paqueta, with Pepite? Arsenal, he had an unreal. Oh, you're talking about Pepe. We signed a player that the footballing IQ, the consistency, and the mentality weren't quite there. You know, he had a great 18 months and he joined Arsenal at a volatile period. The ability's there. There's just many other reasons which I've discussed and many that have flown over my head, really. It's just a shame. Do you think Smith Rowe is slipping down the pecking order at this moment in time? Yeah, if you're out of sight, out of mind, really. So, yeah, probably. But I still back Smith Rowe. He's a quality player. I think he'll do a get back. He'll be all right, man. Rabiot, bro. Rabiot, we're getting. It's like when we link with Noah Lang, we all, you know, G1's here, United fan. I'm sure that clip was doing the rounds of when, you know, Ten Hag is absolutely bollocking Noah Lang for whatever he's getting onto him about. Arteta would have a field day with that, really and truly. Rabiot, there's just too much baggage. You know, he's a good player, but in the realm of Premier League football and all of that, and professional football for that matter, and the top excellence of that, you're not that good for all the baggage you're coming with. Like you're clearly wavy, you know, PSG, Juventus, you'll end up at a decent club. You got a decent left foot, but there's just too much nonsense with it. Nuno is very raw, needs to hit alone. Pepe could be our third striker. I'm not with that, man. Pepe needs to allow Saliba to develop and stop with the mad hype. If he's going to be successful, the team shape and his defensive partners will allow it. Noah Lang has attitude problems. Coach had to put him in his place. Exactly. So there'll be that. Ben White had how many fake dives last year? I don't know. I can't comment. I didn't see. You know, when I look back at it after this game with my coach and stuff with VAR, we'll have a point. But at this moment in time, I can't comment on if Ben White dives in any of that. I've not. But all I know is Ben White he strikes me as an individual with a lot of integrity. The Ben White I know wouldn't dive, so I don't know. But I can't comment on any diving unless I see it. I don't know. I'm acting like a picture. Can't sleep. Deluded makes two of us. And Pepe's just incredibly hot and cold. Smith Rowe's waterboy with Vieira waiting for injury now to get in. Les said that. Smith Rowe soon back. Pepe dribbling, Bambi on nice. I mean, Pepe's got ability, but you just don't know what you're going to get. And as a manager, it's got to be frustrating. What else is going on in the world of football for that matter, man? Seems like the hype for transfers is kind of quieting down now. We met that period. I don't. Wait, what's the Athletic saying? You got any Arsenal articles there? No, I think that's one for tomorrow. That's a Cronke propaganda. That's a Jesus one for tomorrow. I hear that. Sambi class header. As Wenger would say, I didn't see it. There's just some players you know Arteta won't go for. He's made it clear with the way he shifted out some personalities. Tell them again exactly. Maybe when Arteta gets more established, he'll get them more mavericky players, but it seems like he wants players that are at the start of their career. Not that's all at Arsenal, but people that are not difficult personalities per se. Which again, I can't blame him for that, especially if you're trying to change the attitudes and things. I don't know for the injury thing. I answered that, my guy. I don't know what's going on there with Arsenal's injuries, man. I really don't know. I wish I had the answer so I could tell you because it's too much of that. You know, Telemans has so much experience in the Prem. Well, I guess, yeah, he does, man. So, yeah. And obviously, on the topic of Saliba, he needed more experience. You got to remember, he's 21 years of age. He's still not over there yet, but we should be getting a more experienced player, a more slightly all-rounded player, a more confident player, someone who understands the basics that much more. There's a lot he needs to learn, but you know, again, whether you think he needed to go on loan to Marseille or not, 36 Liga games. I don't know if Liga is the same as us with 38, but he played 36 times, helped them qualify for the champs. You know, this is a man there where he's still, you know, he's got 83 Ligue 1 appearances for that. So he's still not the finished article. You know, 22 appearances for Nice, 51 for Marseille, 36 for Saint Etienne. So the club he just came off alone, he played more times for them than the club he came out their academy. So he's still inexperienced. And 5 caps for France. So there's something to build upon. But he could have, especially when we was doing joke man stuff with some other clown defenders, which SALIBA isn't, if you don't understand what I'm saying with that. You know, he could have been used. Top 6 predictions so far. I think the top 3 will stay the same. I think Arsenal, United, and Spurs will fight for, you know, 4th. And then naturally the table will filter in. Chelsea, it does look a bit brazy. Bro, he's a machine. SALIBA's got a lot to work with. There's a lot to like, man. You know, first things first, no matter, you know, I know he looks the part and he's very much the modern day. He looks and plays the part. He understands defending. A lot to go, a lot to understand, but he smells danger. He wants to defend. You know, you can tell he's of a certain mentality. He wants to put in a good performance. He's clearly very good on the ball. I still think there's a lot more personality in that regards to come from SALIBA. You still need to see. It's very easy to do that in a meaningless preseason game. Can you do that against the Savages in the Prem? We'll have to see. Spurs do look strong. Love for the super chat. Is Tuchel a one-hit wonder like Vanilla Ice? Bit harsh, you know. He's won some stuff in the game. I do think Chelsea need to rebuild. I do think they need to stick to the 3 at the back. At least now they might have teething problems. Still think they lack us, not to our extent, but I still think they need to act in the transfer market. I remember watching Pepe forwards flat on his face trying to dribble when I watched him at the Emirates last season in a Katiaba game. I covered my kids' eyes. Love for the super chat once again. Brazy. Pepe's got ability. It's just thinking, man. And again, if I start Pepe for 10 games, I don't know what I'm going to get. I know it's 2 different positions, but if I start El Nene for 10 games, I know worst comes to worst, I'm going to get 5s or 6s. As I said earlier, Pepe is going to give you 2 weeks, he'll be 10 out of 10. Then he's -3. Then it's 5s. Then it's 6. Then it's 1. Then it's 10. Then it's 11. And it just fluctuates from there and there and there and there, people. I hope so. I want to see what everyone is saying when SALIBA gets savage because I know everyone's going to turn on him. Amen. If Pepe stays, do you think Arsenal will sign a right winger? I hope so, because I mean, if Barcelona didn't exist and Chelsea didn't want Rafinha, you'd have to have got that over the line, regardless of what Pepe's doing. DG, do you think we need an ex-forward just in case Jesus gets injured? If we could, why not? Who was man of the match against Chelsea yesterday? In a nice way, I don't think you could pick one. I think Xhaka played quite well. I think Martinelli played quite well. I think Odegaard obviously played well. I think man to a man, everyone played well. For me, I'd give it Jesus. I mean, I think SALIBA will do right, but also you got to remember he's going to be playing more games, and he still needs to adjust to the Premier League. I think his temperament will be all right, but he's human. He's going to suffer that culture shock initially. I don't mind seeing Pepe stay, if anything, lightly alone. Man, I said Pepe needs to do some breathing exercises before games. Harsh, man. Very harsh on the lad. What do he do to you? Interesting comments, man. I less of that, man. By God's grace, Spurs collapse. By all means, I hope the media keep build up Spurs. People are saying they're finishing 2nd and 3rd, and I'm sure, you know, they got a decent side. Conte's there. We're not doing nothing but just making notes. I actually haven't seen any Gooner get onto SALIBA yet. Do you know what it is with SALIBA? It's either a stick to hit Arteta over the head with, or it's a stick to big him up. Now, fans can have their opinion, but and G1, you've been there. You know, the SALIBA one's been a very difficult one because I think there is every case for the last couple of years for him to be within Arsenal's team, but also, I can't argue about going out on loan, really. If you can send a man out on loan and he's going to get into a scheme like at Marseille and play consistently and return with 30 odd top flight French games, getting called up by France, this is when the loan things works. You know, there's not too many players we've sent out on loan and they've come back mad. You know, Joe Willock put a name on himself, made a name for himself, left permanently. You know, not Joe Willock. Obviously, SALIBA's come back off a good of a Marseille loan. I'd say Huddersfield was very positive for Smith Rowe, and there probably is a couple of others. It's too late for me to sit here and think of some more, but you get the point, really. So I think SALIBA's a beast still, but There's a lot that we need to work on. He's not the finished article. You're not going to rock up in the Prem, 21 years of age, stay for 5 years or however long we hope he stays, and you never have a bad game. That's not how life works, is it? Love Pepe. He is a beast. Love's not enough, man. Love's not enough, man. They didn't warn you about me. Sorry to interrupt, though. Minor love for the super chat. There's no problems with that, man. You keeping it going. This is what you lot need. Do you still kick ball here and there? The Pepe slander is painful. Man can really be a match winner on his day. How many days? I'm not slandering him. Who would be your preferred defensive partnership? Gabriel and Saliba. What we're seeing right now. I mean, the Alpha links won't go away, man. At this rate, Juventus must be paying for Arsenal propaganda, man. It's the same script with Arsenal fans. Once he gets Kalas, they'll turn. I remember seeing Adams come for at 18, 19. I had the same feelings when I saw Saliba at Nice ready to boss it. Hope he is ready to boss it. Kind of want to see Saliba and Tomiyasu, but Saliba will learn that he will have less time to think in the Prem. Yeah, man. You cannot even prepare you for the culture shock, even if you're a young player coming from the academy. Joe Willett's a cool guy. Happy to see him do well, man. But sorry, my guy. That's one of Arsenal's positives for many ways. It was a positive loan spell, and unlike Ainsley, we didn't hold on to guys. We saw that, okay, Joe, it's probably not going to work out here. Newcastle happy to take him, and as you said, he's doing well at Newcastle. We got our money, we move on. Everyone's a winner, really and truly. But a part of that only happened because Joe Willett wanted to force the ball out. He said, I want to go and play, which is fair play. I've seen the Jekyll and Hyde of Pepe last season with my own eyes. Love is just not enough. How do you feel about Pepe committing to Arsenal mentally? I don't know what he's committed to. I mean, it's in your best interest. You know, there's talk of a move away. I don't see the intricacies, but unless an actual offer, all the talk, unless there's an actual offer on the table, you might as well have the mentality that you're going to play for Arsenal Football Club. And I don't expect him to post anything different. I like Pepe, man, but we're at where we're at, man. Like, how many times are you gonna watch the same old movie? Even your favorite movie, your most favorite ever movie, people. And I know some of you are now thinking of it, people. You don't want to. How many times are you gonna watch that before you can turn it off? That's why Pepe's so frustrating. The man's got ability. Like, according to the games and the minute he plays, his ratios seem to be half decent. Arsenal don't score too many goals, and Pepe seems to consistently be frozen out. But more time, he's near enough in a decent ranking for the numbers. It's frustrating, man. I do think Pepe could be part of the squad with 5 subs, with being in Europa League, and there could be a scenario of bringing in a winger, but it seems like something that just needs to be collapsed now, really. Something that just needs to be nipped in the bud. In my humble opinion, but what do I know? Make a timestamp for that. Arsenal on 1 says Fabregas or Santi away from top 4 / winning a trophy. I hope so. Shout out to Pepe, man. He's getting that money, man. You're right. To get your DG merch, Nightbot, keep plugging that. Pepe scored around 15 goals in 2020-21. If he can recreate that form, then it would really boost the team. Just play Pepe in Europa and see what happens. I can't lie, man. We've been saying that since 2019. That's why if we're just accepting, as I'm saying, that's your time to shine. You're part of the squad. We might play you in the Prem and you might be 20 million out of 10 the next minute. You might lose the ball and the opposition go down the other end and score. If we're prepared to accept that, is what it is. But Pepe is my age, 27 now. Like, you're a 72 million pound man. Like, you should, and you're contracted until 2024. You haven't heard a damn bit of news about Pepe getting a new deal at Arsenal. You have with Saka, though. Martinelli, Saliba, though. Saliba's been in the first team under Arteta 2 minutes. So what does that tell you? You know, 72 million pound man was kept out of the team by a 20-year-old academy product. I know Arteta plays a part, but couldn't get near him. Could not get near Saka's first team shirt. We're at where we're at with it, really. The problem is with Pepe, you could probably loan him out on a dry loan and then park him off until 2024, where you'd have to deal with a player with a year left. You hope to get 10, 15, 20 million euros for Pepe. But yeah, man. I know we're gassed about Saliba, but brother needs to sign a new contract. Otherwise, we need to cash in now. Pepe is a decent player, awful decision making. You are 200% right, DG. I appreciate that. Like, if we're prepared to accept a lot of things with Pepe, then he could be a decent player, but he's a tricky customer to get off the wage bill. So you might have to use him. It might just have to be a relationship of convenience, a strategic relationship, rather than one, of trust. Pepe is frustrated, loses the ball too much. We can't afford that. We need consistency. And it's true. At their worst, Martinelli's going to run his socks off. Saka can still be a threat and he might miss some chances, Jesus can play out wide now. At his worst, Arteta knows what he's getting. It's what is Pepe doing at his worst? And exchange Pepe for Paqueta, I hear that. Pepe sounds like your version of Chris Wood for us, just saying it. But with Chris Wood, you lot knew he weren't going to do the business like that. Hearing news that outgoings will commence this week. Hopefully, Ballo and Torreira can find good moves away. A part of me from this American campaign wants Nelson to stay, could be deluded. I hear that. Pepe is leaving on a free like Ober and Laka. I mean, at least he's going out the same way his homies did, didn't it? I hear it. I don't condone it, but I hear it. On that note, though, people, I can't lie. It's 1:45. I'm going to go brush my teeth, shower, and go to my bed, people. And I'll catch you lot in the morning. You lot stay blessed, stay safe. Hit the like button and subscribe. If you haven't, follow on Twitch. First things first, I appreciate you lot giving up your time to be here with me. I appreciate your talking points. I appreciate your opinions. I appreciate you lot support. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Last thing, man. Last one. And obviously, I'll see you lot at 11:30 across Twitch and YouTube as well tomorrow or today, better yet. Shout out to you, DG, for giving us entertainment at this time. Shout out to you, Finesse Scout, for you lot joining at this time. How do you feel about playing Pepe striker? Too many years too late now, man. If you want to run that in the champion, I mean, not in the champ, definitely not in the Europa League. Why not? But it's too late now, man. He had it. For me, didn't do it. Maybe he was considering it, but wasn't it Smith Rowe false 9 against Villarreal in the semi-finals of a Europa League? If you're not going to do that now, you're never going to use Pepe as a false 9, are you? Really, it's a fantasy, really. So I think it's maybe come off the bench and do a thing. I mean, if Arteta doesn't achieve certain things in terms of top 4, then there has to be questions. Xhaka does have big mentality. Pedro Gonçalves could be an option, but I don't think we're ever really linked. It seems to be fans more than anything. But yeah, smash the like button. I'll see you lot tomorrow, people. My eyes are closing. When the fun stops. See you lot all tomorrow.
There's always that active red light defending.